got a lot of respect for East. I don't.
Yeah, I do
Don't
too.
necessarily like East, but I got a lot of respect for him for sure.
Man, yeah, and that's like we talk like that's one of the public schools along with like Morgan Park, like that just get it. And it's conversations. People like certain people are mad and saying like, oh, the Catholic League should have their own playoffs and they shouldn't play. And then even recently they were saying get rid of the prep bowl and different things going on. Where it's like I just feel like it's a bunch of excuses from a lot of people. Bro. It's like, man, get better, win, do what you got to do to coach your kids up, discipline, like all the stuff that you need to do to be successful. Just do it because the coaches who are winning aren't complaining. The coaches that so I don't understand why it's all these things that need to be changed. Just adapt and be better.
It's not a coincidence. This is what I say about that. This is not a coincidence that the same schools win every time. Like you guys heard like my motivation when I was younger. When we went to Providence to win a state championship. That's what you go there for. You don't go there to just win playoff games. That's why like a lot of these kids go to Mount Carmel, you go to Loyola, you go to East, you go to Maine South to win state. That's the standard. So when that's the standard, like that's what you have to live up to. When you get in those big games, you expect to win. A lot of these schools don't expect to win.
Exactly.
So that's why when they lose,
they expect to play.
Yeah.
Yes, and then they because they're like, oh, well, they start these built-in excuses. Well, they can recruit, they can do all this stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. You had your 11 against their 11.
Exactly.
Like, and you guys are pulling from a way bigger group of people. You're just as talented. Just do what it takes to win. Like from the coaches down to the kids, show up with your mindset that you can win those games. It's like that's why I hate that argument because East wins all the time. Maine South, you don't ever hear them complain about it. They want those games.
Yep.
Like East wants to play Loyola.
Yeah.
South wants to play the best.
Exactly.
Because that's like it's.
And those are league ways. That's a suburban team.
Yeah, it's like otherwise, why would you? There's no state championship if there's a private school,
right, and then a public school and all this stuff, like, man, just go out there and win. Like,
exactly.
I don't care, man.
Don't make excuses.
And like I say, where do the Catholic League get their players from? They're not getting them from 5-mile radius, 10-mile radius. They coming to your community, getting them
program.
Figure out a way to keep your kids home.
Program.
Like, it's a real simple fix. Like, if everybody just does their job, it'll be competitive across the board, and we have nothing to complain about.
Yeah. So guarantee I'm putting in all this work in the all season. All season, I can dominate all season. Put in work in the all season. All season. So I can dominate all season. Put in work in the all season. All season.
Welcome to another episode of the OFFSZN Podcast. This is episode 27. Is it 27?
Yeah.
Definitely 27, man. Today we got a very, very, very special guest. It's been a while since we had a guest, but always welcome guests to the platform. Pete, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, I'll let you do it.
Yep, my name's Pete Houlihan. I'm a co-owner of WIN Performance, owner of Off the Leash, DB Performance. I'm a performance coach. I train every type of athlete. I work with a bunch of NFL DBs, college DBs. Glad to be here, man. It's been a while. I've told y'all boys I was going to come on. I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, I'm happy we was able to lock it down. We've been trying to get you on for a while, and, everybody gets busy, and we know you a hardworking individual. So
shout out to both of you guys. I love what you guys are doing. Keep going, man. I'm proud of y'all boys.
Appreciate it, man.
Same here. This is the first time, being here at the facility. You always see it online, but, man, being here in person, it's a beautiful facility, and I see why, all the athletes want to come out here and work with you, man. Like, it's definitely, a nice facility. For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the crib.
Yeah. So how long has it been since you all have been here?
This is going on year 5 now. I've been training for almost 10 years now. We were at another spot up here, and then me and my partner, Carrie Neal, started this, a little over, just about 5 years actually coming up. Yeah, it's crazy. It's how time flies, though. But, yeah. 5 years now, man.
So you said you've been training for 10 years.
Yeah, I've been training for 10 years. Yeah, I played at Eastern Illinois. It was went to Providence first off, and then I went to Eastern. I was a 3-year starter at corner there, return punts, and then I always kind of knew I wanted to do this. I love. I knew I wanted to be involved in football, whether I was going to be coaching, and then I knew my goal was never really to play in the NFL. But I knew I wanted to help guys get there, and this was the best way to do that. I majored in kinesiology, got a exercise science degree. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist. But yeah, this is something I would even train guys and stuff when I was in high school. I kind of always was obsessed with figuring out how to get myself better, how to get myself faster. So yeah, it started a long time ago, but yeah, I've been officially doing it for about 10 years now.
10 years, that's a long time, but stepping stones, man. It's like building blocks. It all don't just happen overnight. And
it's crazy. It's crazy now. I've kids who I've had since they were in 7th grade are starting to like this year will be going to the league. Like it's crazy how much.
Yeah,
it's been a whirlwind for sure.
And that's what I always say. Like, you know, I started coaching. You know, when I got out of college, I started coaching at TF South, and it's crazy to like started coaching a group, and like now there's sophomores in college, juniors in college, and it's like, man, I remember when you first started your development. It's just crazy to see people grow. It make me feel old. It's like, damn, like you know, I'm still young.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. Just wait till they start like getting married and doing all this, you know, stuff off the field. It's amazing. That's why you do it though. You know?
WIN Performance at one point was a dream, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a lot of building blocks, a lot of stepping stones behind it. How did you get from, you know, starting a dream and then ended up turning into fruition?
Yeah, so me and my partner Carrie, we had built our own followings pretty well, and we were like, well, we have such a big following, why don't we just do it on our own? And the goal was always, at least for me, was always to kind of to start your own spot and have your own place. And so we kind of thought about it, and we started looking at places. Ironically, this place was like pretty close to where we were at, so we knew our base and everything would be here. And we walked into this place, we're like, oh yeah, this is the spot for sure. And then we always talked about how we wanted to create a place where like the best people come to, and it just attracts the best people, whether it's, you know, athletics, business wise, or just the best people coming together in one spot. And that's kind of how it ended up happening. And I remember Kerry texted me one time. We were kind of stuck on a name, and he texted me one day. He's like, "WIN" in capital letters, and I was like, "Oh, I love it, man." He's like, "Who don't like to win? Everybody likes to win." You know, he's like, if you can be a 8th grader, you could be on a JV team, whatever. You could own your own business, whatever. Everybody loves to win. And then from that came the win big, and then win together. Like I said, we wanted to create a place where like elite individuals come. So a lot of these adults, or that we should say regular people, but that come in are very competitive and very good at what they do, whether they're CEOs or lawyers or whatever it is. They so it's cool. You get kind of the a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? It's cool, and then you get to learn a lot of cool things from them and stuff. It's a really, really cool environment. It's kind of turned into what we wanted it to be, which is nice.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, so like I want to kind of know about like the business part of it though. You know what I mean? Like what was it like getting it started? Because you know that's what a lot of people say is like, man, I want to have my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? But I don't think everybody really understands what it takes to build. When you come in and you look around, it's like, man, this is beautiful, but you don't see what happened behind the scenes. You don't see, you know, the work that it put. So what was like what was some of like the hardships that came with like kind of creating what we see today?
For sure, the business part of it is something you don't think about. You're like, all right, well, we have this dream, we have this following, we found a building, but like how much is it going to cost to start up, or like what are we going to need, how do you pay people, what taxes, all that stuff. So I would say the biggest advice I give to people who are starting is make sure that you have somebody. First off, the team is the most important thing.
We talk about that all the time.
Yes, bro.
Put people around you, like really good, solid people, and then really having a mentor or somebody who's started a business before, who has the ins and outs of like, okay, this is what you need to start. You know, this is how to break down things individually, and then, you know, what software are we going to use to charge people, and like to run the numbers, and like how much
everything.
Let's take the overhead, and then talk about how what's the P&L going to look like, all this type of stuff that I never even thought about. I got a kinesiology degree. I don't have a business degree, so having somebody, we were lucky enough to have somebody in our corner who was like who's really successful, a business guy, and you know, he was great with us. He was hard on us too, which is another thing. Have people in your life in general who are going to be hard on you and tell you the truth. But that's like the biggest thing, because it is hard. And if you start a business and you let things slide, or you don't notice certain things, you could be in trouble really quick financially, and that ends the whole dream right there. But what I will tell people too is that it's possible. Like if you really are passionate about something and you have a self-belief in yourself, do it. Don't let the financial, all that stuff is scary, but I promise you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So what was it like, I guess, what was when you knew like, all right, this is going to work? Because I mean, did it start right away? Like let's say when you opened the door, grand opening, first day of training, was it packed in here with athletes, or it was like a slow start and it was like a build up?
No, we knew right away. I mean, we knew before we even start, we knew that this was going to be, we knew this was going to take off before. There was no doubt, at least in my mind, that, so when we open the doors, I mean, like you guys are doing, you guys are building a community of people who, like, it's a family, and like that's like how it was for us. So when we left, there was no question. Like those people who we had trained before were coming with us. So yeah, there's no doubt ever on day one. I mean, we were training before we even had the grand opening. There's guys that wanted to be here and help out and stuff. So yeah, it was
That's dope.
yeah, no, never a doubt.
Where were you training before?
EFT. You ever heard of EFT? It's
I don't think I have.
It's up here in Highland Park too. But yeah, we were there for. Kerry was there for a little bit longer than me, but yeah, we were there before this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dope,
cool.
Yeah,
dope,
man.
So you said you were from Evergreen. Are you from Evergreen?
No,
right?
I'm originally from Joliet.
Originally from
Yeah,
Joliet.
so I went Joliet, went to Providence.
Went to Providence Catholic.
I'm a CC. I'm a Catholic League guy. Yeah.
Definitely. You know, we cover the Catholic League a
Yeah.
lot. We cover a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of the teams,
Yep.
though. But what sports did you play in high school?
I played football and baseball.
Football and baseball. Which one you like better?
Football. I mean, I love the minute I played hockey growing up, starting to grow up, and then played baseball, and then the minute I scored my first touchdown, it was over with.
Yeah?
I knew it was.
So did you play both all 4 years, or you
Yeah.
just okay? So what was like? Because we ask a lot of the athletes that come on, because most of them are usually like multi-sport
Yeah.
athletes. What was it like being a multi-sport athlete in high school? You know.
I mean, I recommend it. I honestly do. I think especially if you get like growing, you get to like junior year or something, and junior year you want to specialize in something, but it's for sure growing up. It's just. It helps you so much in ways you have no idea.
I think it keeps you in shape for one.
Yeah.
For sure, like movement patterns.
Mm-hmm.
There's different leadership qualities or different things that you have to do to be good at baseball that is going to help you be a better football player too. You know, there's like whether it's mental things. Yeah, I encourage. I mean, you look at most of the guys that play in the NFL; they're all multi-sport athletes, whether they're relievers or. Yeah, it's I mean, nowadays it's kind of hard, but. I don't know. I'm pro multi-sport athletes. I really am.
Yeah. So like as far as like when you say like when you first scored your first touchdown, like you knew that was it. So like from that point on, what was your process like to being, I guess, the athlete that you were to become? Like you going to Eastern, you getting a Division I scholarship. Like was it something like you was the man right away, or did you have like a development process where it's like I'm working to get to that point, or is it just right out the gate?
No, I was definitely not the best when I first started playing. I had to earn like getting the most carries, and then ended up like being the guy in my like 7th, 8th grade year. And then I was always proud. I just, for some reason, since I've been a kid, I've always wanted to be the best, just what I did, no matter what.
You always want to win.
And then I grew up going to like Providence state championships, so like I was motivated by the only thing I cared about was winning a state championship. That's it. So like that's kind of what I guess really drove like, I want to get faster, I want to get stronger. Not because I want to go play. Well, I want to play Division I football, but because I want to win a state championship. That's like the only thing I thought about. From the time I woke up in the morning, to the time I went to sleep, that's it. So I think that's a lot of where it started was, okay, I want to win a state championship, and then secondly, I wanted to be the best, and then third, I wanted to get. Because what people don't understand is like when you have a goal like that, okay, state championship, the work you're going to put in to get there is going to get you to being a Division I player, wherever you want to be. Yeah. But if the goal is okay, I want the only thing I'm thinking about is being a Division I or playing in the league, then you're gonna miss out on what it takes to achieve those first steps to get there. You know what I mean? You gotta have to think about the big picture, but you also have to have short-term goals that you're focused on every day, and that's what you should really be grinding towards.
Yeah, exactly. Because short-term goals help you achieve long-term goals. Right. Like you said, you was waking up every day thinking about a state championship. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like getting up every day, preparation every day, and development is a key part of, I think, what you mentioned is the development aspect of it as well. Because if you're thinking way too far ahead, you know, you may miss out on the goals or the little things where how you can develop a lot better. So
because there's kids will come in here all the time and I'll be like, okay, what do you want to do with this? I want to go to the league. Okay, well, what does that take? Like, what does that mean? You can't just tell me that you want to go to the league.
Habits.
Right? What really
working out habits
think it takes to get there? Like it starts by, okay, I want to be a starter. Then I want to be a captain, and then I want to be an all-conference guy, and then I want to go to college, and I want to make the bus, and then I want to start on teams, and I want to be a starter, and then you may go faster and skip a few of those steps.
And you start building.
But you can't just be like, all right, I want to get to the league, and then tell me come and show up late, and you're not working as hard as you can. You can't tell me one thing and your actions do another. So
exactly,
definitely, yeah. I like that you talked about that, like that process, because kind of how we was just talking about. I think the understanding of the process of getting better has been lost with this generation of kids, and not saying it's their fault, but the climate and everything of sports is just changing, so they just adapting to what's happening. But I think these younger athletes need to understand that it's about habit stacking, and it's just not overnight. And you could look at somebody Instagram and they're a 5-star and they have all these offers, and you think you're just gonna wake up and do the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's just being able to find somebody that's a trainer like you and lock in, and you have somebody that guides you, that's like a mentor that can really teach you the steps. Like, hey, it's not about making it to the league, it's about being the best on your team first. Like, let's deal with this first before you start talking about the best in the world at the game. Are you the best in your conference? Are you the best? You know what I mean? So it's just about breaking things down, small wins, small victories, and
that's not to say
there.
that you have to have small dreams or small goals or whatever. Like, if you want to play in the league, that's your goal. That's it should be. But you have to have, like, you got to have some other substance behind it. Sometimes when we have sessions and it's not it's what I want it to be, or the intensity's not, or the effort's not there, sometimes I'll pull up tape of, like, I'll be training Eddie Jackson or Julian Love or one of those guys, and you watch the way that they work, and they are the hardest working guys that you'll ever see. Like, they show up early, they take care of business, they stay late, they take care. It's like there's no secret to what it takes to be successful. Like, you have to,
and it's not an accident either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an accident.
And then, like, I feel like the way you were saying, how people look on Instagram and be like, oh, well, I saw a vlog of this guy training, this is what he does, I could do that. It's like, no, that's not. First, that's what he does every single day. Not just one day and then think it's gonna happen. It's not. There's no instant gratification in being the best at something.
Right. I agree.
What's the age range of athletes you train or individuals that you train?
Oh, from 8 years old to guys that are in the Pro Bowl. Yeah. If you come in and you're locked in and you're focused, I don't care how old you are, I'll train. Yeah.
So what's the training like, from a guy that's maybe, 8 years old and they're just getting started in their development to a guy that's, in the pros, in the league?
Yeah, it's way different. You have to be way more patient with the younger guys, I'll say that. But it's for those guys, it's about, like, learning the basics, how to move properly, how to build good techniques, how to build good working habits. Like, what it's good for the young guys to be around older guys and see how they work. And, like, so you would think it's not about necessarily the actual work itself. It's about, like, building a foundation for those young guys. So in 4 or 5 years from now, they don't got to start over and build their sprinting technique because they've been working on it since they've been 8. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. They don't have to be squatting or doing stuff in the weight room, but little things like that, or, like, just little habits like starting behind the line or finishing through drills, things like that. Is versus you go to
goes a long way,
and then versus, like, you go work with some of these guys that are Pro Bowl guys, and they're so structured in what they do, and they know exactly what they want to work on. People ask me what it's like to train those guys. They know to the T, like, what they need to get better on, and what they want to work on in the session. They're so intent driven on that during the session. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, what are we working on today, or what do you want to work on? And then I'll program for them what we're gonna do, and then during the session, we're so locked in on that specific thing. You know what I mean? Because you can just go out there and do footwork and stuff, but if you're out there just doing work to do work, for those guys, it's not going to be any benefit for them. Now it's like, all right, how can we figure out some little thing, some small thing for you to get a little bit more of an edge, to be a little bit better, to make a little bit more plays, to make a little bit more money.
For sure. So. Do you remember your first, like, NFL person that you trained?
Yeah, it was Kenny Moore, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenny was, like, the first actual that I trained by myself, and he wasn't even. He was just. I think he had just gotten released the year before that. Or maybe it was on the practice squad, and I remember, actually, it's a funny story about Kenny. He's the type of guy where, like, you throw the ball no matter where you're out in the field, and he's going to get it. It's crazy. It's like all the NFL guys have something that you're like, whoa, when they're doing. But and then I remember talking to him after, and he's like, man, I'm just trying to make the team. And I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, I've never seen anybody move like this before. I'm like, you're not just a good enough guy to be in the league. You're a guy that should be, like, a dude in the league. Right. And then the very next year ends up making a team. The next year is the highest paid nickel in the league. It's like, and he came from a D2 school with undrafted. It's like, but talk about work ethic, like that work. Yeah, like work.
And that's more of those examples of, like, man, you can make it from anywhere. Exactly. In a time now where everything is about being Division I and just the best route possible, man, you just got to go where you can develop. You got to go where you got an opportunity to play and make the best of it. If you're supposed to be there, you're going to be there.
100%.
Like, it's just no doubt about it. It's D3 guys that make it to the NFL. If you're supposed to be there, you'll be there.
Yeah, guys that play 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's great to see, like, you deal with eighth grade, like you said, 8-year-old
Yeah.
kids all the way up to the professional levels. And I think it's also important for them to like show that you're like these type of athletes are tangible too.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
easy to be around. It's obviously easy
Yeah.
for you to be around them because you
Right,
train
right,
them, but
right.
also it's like you have the credibility to show that the
Right.
8-year-olds or
Yeah.
the 9-year-olds or people that's just starting their development that where they can be in the long run, how they can get to the league, because
Yeah.
you are training those guys that get to the
Yeah.
league. So I think it's important to have people like you who are training a wide variety of individuals. So it's like the development and the stepping stones of getting to not just the league, but developing yourself to be
Yeah.
ready to be there.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too is that like it's the training part of it is really not that different. Like obviously from a youth kid, but like for a high school kid, a college kid to an NFL guy, there's just it's just like basketball. That's why I love like Kobe. Like there's something to being in the gym and taking shots and like the monotony and like you have to be so good at the little things. And like it takes a different type of discipline to be able to come in here every day and work on making sure your brake foot's underneath you, making sure making sure your pad level's good. Like the little things, that's like what makes the difference. And those guys are just so locked in on, they never get bored of doing, like being perfect at that stuff. Versus like where young guys would be like, oh, well, I want to do this drill, or I want to work on this. It's like, well, we ain't had foundation to do that, so we're just wasting our time doing that. Now we just doing drills with bad technique. You know, it's like, yeah, it's funny how it's really not that different. It's just you have to fall in love with the process. You have to love like doing the little things all the time.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, like with the climate now, and we keep speaking about this, just the climate of sport in general. It's not even just high school, but I mean from the pros and to colleges, everything is changing with NIL, transfer stuff, all that stuff, and even we just spoke about 7-on-7 a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is like the solution for the, like, I guess the lack of development for these athletes? Because there's a clear problem here and it's not really being addressed. And I think money is a big reason why it's like it's being overlooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think 7-on-7 right now is just so far away from what the purpose of it was. The purpose of it was supposed to be for guys to be able to get development on what they needed to work on for the next year. And now it's turned into something that's just like, it's just a money grab for organizations. It's a way for kids to try to get in front of a camera and do something crazy. I don't know whether it's like adults need to step up and be like, okay, we're not doing this as a team anymore. Like, we're going to focus on getting in the weight room and just locking in as a team in here together. Or kids got to get back to falling in love with football.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the problem. Not even just football, all sports. Like, these kids are in it to get on Instagram or to get, they're not in the game because they love football.
Social media's changed it a lot.
Yeah, it
though.
has.
At the end of the day, you have
Expansion
to
of
love.
it.
You have to love the game. Like, that has to be the first thing. I think kids got to get back to doing that. I just, I don't know. And then there has to be more people like you guys or like other good people in these kids' lives to tell them like, yo, what you're doing right now is not right. You're bullshit. Like, you need to get right. Figure it out. And I feel like in the 7-on-7, all this stuff, there's just too many people who are just yes men or are looking for, I don't know, a lot of the coaches make it about themselves and they're trying to make money, and it's just got so far away from what it's actually supposed to be. Like, you just,
Yeah, I feel like I see a new 7-on-17 come up every day, like on Instagram.
Yeah, man. And that's what I said. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm openly say like how much I dislike the 7-on-7 because I always say I see the potential of what it could be. I can see how it could be beneficial to athletes, but what it actually is not beneficial. I don't think kids should be doing it. I think because you even got little kids. You've got teams with little kids, maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, that's doing the same thing. So their bad habits are starting way in advance. You know what I mean? So they thinking they doing all this stuff early. So I just think they should step away, and the high school coaches should be more verbal about, look, this is what we're doing, this is the process, this is our developmental process. It's best if we create that cohesiveness with our team, and that's what we doing. Like, you just have to step up and be like, we drawing a line, and I don't care if you are our best player, you need to be here and prioritize what we're doing here over whatever bullshit y'all doing over there, because that's not making y'all better. This is. So it's a lot of good schools that do that, but I think with us having a platform and a voice, we also will say the same thing, and people will hear it. It's other ways that I feel like these athletes can develop versus that type of style of football.
100%.
Honestly.
And if you are doing it, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, and make sure when you go to practice, you're not just there to work on TikTok dances or what you gonna do when you make a play. You should be there. Okay, what do I need to get better at to make my season next year better so that I can achieve my goals? You know, whether that's getting your man tech right, whether that's whatever it is, but like, just make sure that you are intentional with that, and not just going out there because you want to look cool and get likes and shit on Instagram. It's just, I don't know. It's sad. I hate it for football. I hate it for, I don't know. It's something needs to change though.
Yeah,
Something
definitely.
needs to change.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit because with you training a lot of professional athletes, I assume you'll watch a lot of professional sports.
Oh yeah.
You a Bears fan at all?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately.
This morning we fired Shane Waldron.
Yeah.
I felt like we should have fired the whole coaching staff. What is your idea of how he's been developing? You know, because development is a big part of your day-to-day life,
Yeah.
you know, everyday life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you develop a lot of athletes, young guys, professional athletes. Your whole thing is development.
Yeah.
In Shane Waldron being offensive coordinator for Caleb Williams, what do you think about the development behind that and
I think-
how it can have an effect on Caleb
I
Williams'
think
career in the long term?
quarterbacks are, especially young quarterbacks, are so like tender. You have to then like that. You have to make sure that they're set up to succeed. And I just feel like, you know, I'm not an offensive coordinator in the NFL, but I feel like they were kind of handicapping. It just looked like they didn't have much trust in him early on in the year too. Like
Definitely
the way
didn't.
the play calling looks like, it's like you watch some of these other rookies where they're able to like just kind of throw the ball, like spin that shit. But he I feel like they kind of handicapped him. And they wouldn't let him like let loose, and then you could just tell everybody in that organization is just like tense, and like they just, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's tough because like I said, that rookie year, like you think about quarterback is all about confidence. Like
Yep, that's really
you
what
know,
it
like
is.
my roommate in college was Jimmy Garoppolo, and I tell this to people all the time because Jimmy played in the league a long time, won a lot of games, and he's still
Jimmy
playing.
G was your roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He went to
wow.
Eastern, yeah.
Yeah,
that's tough.
but what I tell, like, Jimmy was so competitive and so confident. Like there's just, and if you mess with a quarterback's confidence, then that's all. That the next thing you know, they start second guessing themselves. What makes Caleb great is because Caleb don't think when he's out there, he just plays. You know, and now you start. I think you saw it with Fields too, where like you start thinking about where you're gonna throw. You can't do that in the NFL. You can't predetermine throws because these guys are just
Way less time, especially if you got a bad
you know,
line.
they're so good. I mean, I thought that move probably should have been made a while ago, but I don't know. It's hard because this defense is so good, and there's so many
good.
weapons on this team, and you know, you just hate to see that.
Yeah,
You know, it sucks.
I agree because I like it goes back to what you said, building confidence. I felt like early in the season, and I think they even had a talk with Shane Waldron, like a couple of the offensive guys. They said, "Yo, like open up the playbook for him and everything." And I think that's when you started seeing his success and development. And then something changed after we came back from that bye. It was like we said, "All right, these are the things that work for him.
Yeah.
Let's throw all that away." And let's try some new things as well, especially with that Washington game.
Yeah.
I think that really was a stinger because you got to think he didn't play well the whole game, but the fourth quarter, that's where you really see who can really win the game for you. And I thought he played very well to win the game, and then you got stupid play calls of handing it off to a lineman who's never had the
Doug's
ball.
one of our guys actually.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but-
that's
yeah.
it's I mean, that's where you see it.
And
You
then-
see it in the play. Cause I think
Exactly.
he was the first year coordinator, I think, right?
No, it's second, because
Is
he
it
was
second?
Seattle.
Was
He was in Seattle.
But
last
you could
year.
tell he's still not like some of those play calls. You kind of tell he just those aren't normal. Like you used to watch really good coordinators. They don't call plays like that. They're so confident in what they do. They don't have to do anything tricky. They don't have to run option to the boundary on 4th and goal or whatever it is. Like, but yeah, it's
especially with Caleb Williams learning a new offense. You know what I mean? He's not under a college style offense like what he was at USC with Lincoln Riley. I think that's the reason why we seeing Jaden Daniels have as much success as he does, because he has he got. I'm sorry, who did I say? Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. My
they're
bad.
kinda the same.
Same person. Cliff Kingsbury.
yeah, I think
but at
that
USC,
helps. That definitely helps.
Exactly, and he's running that same type of college style offense, but he also has a person that's developing him well. I thought we had the opportunity to bring him in to work with Caleb, and I thought that would have been
great.
well. But
Yeah.
I think if you switch Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams on the team, you will see Caleb Williams having that same success with Washington, and Jaden Daniels may be struggling because of who the coordinator is.
Yeah.
So development is definitely super important, and at the quarterback position, unfortunately, we're on the short end of the stick with Caleb Williams.
And now you talk about the 7-on-7 stuff, and like you talk about like the era that we're in right now. These quarterbacks don't really get developed at all anymore. Like as far as they're out there, like in college, you watch college football or even high school football or 7-on-7. These guys, they take snaps, they run all over the place, they throw the ball. They're not really. There's not many reads in college offenses anymore. You know, so when you get to the NFL, it's so different because you can't play offense like that. So a lot of these guys struggle, and then you see it with like a lot of these younger guys now who are getting benched or getting traded after being top 5 picks because they just don't have the confidence, and they can't play and get better because maybe their team's not good enough, or they're they're just struggling, and then so you're doomed after that. Like, think about how many guys the last couple of years, Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, Mac Jones, all these guys who came in and had to play right away. I think that's
that's the problem.
I think
that's
that's the problem.
That is the problem.
Like, you can't, like, Jimmy sat behind Brady for 2 years, and the value of that is like
crazy.
You know, just to be like, all right, when I see this guy in this position, I know what coverage it is. Versus going out there as a rookie and having the city of Chicago on your ass, and, like,
especially a city like Chicago.
Yeah, so.
But to your point with Jimmy G, like, you know, when I think he played a couple games when Tom Brady got hurt, and he came in and it was like clockwork. To the point that he came in, it was like clockwork. It was like, oh, he's clearly should be a starter, but probably because of his development. You know what I mean?
I got another Jimmy story too. This has to tie in with everything we talked about today. So Jimmy, when he went to San Francisco, he their first practice, he's like, it was lackadaisical. It was like, it just wasn't sure. So he like talked to everybody after practice. He was like, yo, this is not how you win games. Because he's in New England, where they're winning. No, it's like
they have a winning culture.
Yeah, so it's like it's everything comes down to culture, and like,
I agree.
You know, so it was kind of cool how he said that. And then from then on, he came in there and they won games and went to the Super Bowl. You know, it's like it's Jimmy. Another story I tell about you, Jimmy I've made a lot of plays on Jimmy. He's never given me credit for one play I've ever made. He'll be like,
why would he though?
He'll be like, no, it's PI, or he'll be like, he'll say some, like, receiver didn't come back to the ball. I'm like, Jim, just tell me it was a good play, bro.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy he is. He's just so competitive, man. He just won't give it to me.
Definitely, yeah. So even with like all the things that we talked about today, everything you guys have done will win. Like, do you have any future goals? Like, what's next for WIN? Like, what's next for you and WIN? Is it another facility upgrade?
This is a great facility, by the way.
Man, got the turf, the weights, man, everything. Like,
very spacious.
Yeah, I think obviously we want to scale. So what that looks like is, you know, whether that's like getting a bigger facility. That's kind of, I mean, we want to work with the best athletes in the world. So you look at who does that right now. You look at Exos or Pro, some of these places, and they have chefs, they have doctors and treatment. The treatment part of it is really good. So obviously we want to be able to compete with them and do the same type of things they do in Chicago. But yeah, our goal is to work with the best in the world. That's you know, on the biggest scale we can, and help out as many people as we can achieve their dreams. And that's kind of, then maybe, you know, maybe online, have an online presence, whether that's programming or, you know, an app or something, do something that we can work with people that aren't from Chicago or whatever. So
that would be dope.
Yeah,
that's definitely dope. I think y'all definitely, you know, obviously got the right foundation here. I mean, this facility is amazing. I know I just said that, but especially just seeing how, you know, the different individuals that was just here. We saw a couple kids working out, and we saw an older guy that was just getting in some work. He just left out. It's dope. It's like you said, it's a culture at the end of the day, and obviously WIN Performance is the name of the facility, but you got a lot of winners coming in. So that's definitely dope to see.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, it's like I said, it's turned into it's so cool. You come into a DB session, and there's Power 4 guys, there's JV kids, and they're all in it together. It's like they all hold each other accountable. They all push each other. They all compete. It's like, that's what it's about at the end of the day. And then they go outside of here and they're friends with each other, and they hold each other accountable outside of here. So, because they know if you ain't in here with your best, then I can't be at my best. And at the end of the day, if we all trying to win together, we all have to be at our best. It's like, that's what it's about, you know?
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, like, one thing for me is I always had the perspective of like, man, these kids, they too friendly now. Like, I was thinking that at first. I was thinking like, man, they too friendly. Like, they all want to be together, and like guys from different schools or whatever. But honestly, it is beneficial, and I think that's why these kids are the most skilled. These kids are skilled as far as like the things that they can do, even though some stuff I don't like. But when you see them in 7-on-7, some of the catches, some of the plays, it's like, bro, these kids are super skilled. But that's because they're outside practicing all of this stuff. Like, they're literally, these spectacular plays aren't happening by accident. Like, they're literally outside practicing one hand catching, crazy catches and stuff like that. So the skills are there. So I honestly like appreciate that they can all come here like, hey man, we gonna go to WIN. We all gonna work out together. I don't care what school you from. I can have Division I offers. You could be not rated, and we still gonna get in here. We gonna work out together. So
get it in. And then you have to be able to. There's a difference between being like friendly with each other, and then like we in a session, making sure that I'm trying to be the best in a group. You know what I mean? And that makes, I feel like that makes, you can't just come in here and mess around with each other. Like, y'all got to come in here with a purpose, and like, it's you my boy and everything, but you ain't better than me.
Right.
My rep's gonna be better. My catching's gonna be better. My technique's gonna be better. My recovery's gonna be better. Everything I do is gonna be better than you. But I love you at the end of the day. But that's just how it's got to be.
Yeah.
Sure.
As we're talking about a lot of the young guys, as you know, we cover a lot of the high school sports in the area. Are you keeping up with the high school football scene right now?
I'm high school football in Illinois is like the best.
It's crazy right now, man. It's insane.
It's gotten so much better in Chicago. Like football in general, overall,
Insane.
I love seeing Morgan Park be really good.
Yes.
I love CJ. I think CJ is the man. I love a lot of those guys those older guys now I work with, and when I use their field to train sometimes in the summer, and those kids were out there every day, together training.
It's not by accident,
bro. That's
like
it's not by
bro.
accident.
Like this group of kids, I don't know whatever it is. They're just they mesh really well, whatever. But they're different, and I love seeing them be good. And then obviously I'm a Catholic League guy, so I love seeing. This is my favorite time of year because we get to beat up on all the public schools.
The CPM Morgan Park, they may make history this year.
I hope so. I really do. I hope so. I do.
Yeah. I think the dope thing that I like what I was just saying, it's not by accident. It was a play that Coach CJ posted on his Instagram story when they was playing. I can't remember what team they just played. Was it Metamora or somebody?
Yeah.
And it was a play that Jovan Clark made.
Yeah.
And it was like he really you could tell he was watching film, you know. Obviously he got the physicality and he got the athleticism and everything that he needs to be successful, but the separator is knowing the game. And you can clearly see from that play when he was like, oh, he caught it. Boom. That was a dope play to see.
It's something amazing when you watch kids who love football play football. Like he loves football. So he's watching tape, and just when you see it on, it's like a beautiful thing when you see it. It's
Exactly.
they're different. They're
and then that offense is electric too, man. They got a bunch of kids that's just they're not the biggest guys in the world, but you can tell they got a good leader behind them in Coach CJ. And then they got the athleticism, they got the skill and everything to kind of mesh it all together. And like you said, the development is the key part behind it, and they out there everyday development is going to lead to a deep run in the playoffs. And then a bunch of other teams that we seen play this year. I mean, East St. Louis was a team that I saw in person, and I'm like, man, for this to be a 6A school, they kind of competing with the 8A. They beat up on Loyola early in the season.
They could play with anybody. For sure.
Insane. And then like we watched Loyola versus Marist last week. That game could have went anyway. And
hey, how about that's a great place to watch a football game.
Marist
is lit.
It was crazy. The environment was electric. The environment was electric. But overall, it's just the football scene I'm so excited about. Jonas Williams at Lincoln Way East. We could potentially see a rematch between Loyola and Lincoln Way East in the semifinals.
I love how I don't know if I saw it on your guys, but I saw that East. They had some of the football guys and stuff went to go cheer on.
Oh, that was
because they want them boys back. I love to see stuff.
So apparently they was there to cheer on because I guess Jacob Ritter from Marist went to Lincoln Way East and then he transferred to Marist. I thought they was there to troll Lincoln Way East. I mean, not to troll Lincoln Way East, Loyola.
I want y'all to win so that we get you guys.
Right.
I thought that's what it was.
That's
I'm pretty sure a little bit of
it probably was. It probably was.
I got a lot of respect for East. I don't.
Yeah, I do too.
Necessarily like East, but I got a lot of respect for him for sure.
Man, and that's like we talk like that's one of the public schools along with like Morgan Park, like that just get it, and it's conversations. People like certain people are mad and saying like, oh, the Catholic League should have their own playoffs and they shouldn't play. And then even recently they were saying get rid of the Prep Bowl and different things going on. Where it's like I just feel like it's a bunch of excuses from a lot of people. Bro. It's like, man, get better, win, do what you got to do to coach your kids up, discipline, like all the stuff that you need to do to be successful, just do it because the coaches who are winning aren't complaining. No. The coaches that so I don't understand why all these things that need to be changed. Just adapt and be better.
It's not a coincidence. This is what I say about that. This is not a coincidence that the same schools win every time. Like you guys heard like my motivation when I was younger. When we went to Providence to win a state championship. That's what you go there for. You don't go there to just win playoff games. That's why a lot of these kids go to Mount Carmel, you go to Loyola, you go to East, you go to Maine South. To win state, and that's the standard. So when that's the standard, like that's what you have to live up to. When you get in those big games, you expect to win. A lot of these schools don't expect to win.
Exactly.
So that's why when they lose,
they expect to play.
Yes, and then they because they're like, oh, well, they start these built-in excuses. Well, they can recruit, they can do all this stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. You had your 11 against their 11.
Exactly.
And you guys are pulling from a way bigger group of people. You're just as talented. Just do what it takes to win. Like from the coaches down to the kids, show up with your mindset that you can win those games. It's like that's why I hate that argument because East wins all the time. Main South, you don't ever hear them complain about
Nope.
it. They want those games.
Yep.
Like they want. Like,
Exactly.
East wants to play Loyola.
Yeah,
Main South
yeah.
wants to play the best.
Exactly.
Because that's like it's.
And those are League Ways. That's a suburban team.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
otherwise, why would you? There is no state championship if there's a private school,
Right, and then the public
state
school
championship.
and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
man, just go out there and win. Like, I don't
Exactly.
care, man.
Don't make excuses.
And like I say, where do the Catholic League get their players from? They're not getting them from 5-mile radius, 10-mile radius. They coming to your community,
Your
getting them
feeder
from.
program.
Figure out a way to keep your
Come to
kids
your feeder
home.
program.
Like, it's a real simple fix. Like, if everybody just does their job, it'll be competitive across the board, and we have nothing to complain about.
Yep.
Like, man, it's crazy. The Prep Bowl thing is just blowing my mind. They
Yeah.
saying, oh, the teams get extra games to play. Like, man, who cares? Like, who can win your game?
When are we against kids having extra opportunity?
Yeah, you know what I'm
Like,
saying? Like, and they need it. They need the
Yeah.
extra. So it's like, if you can get it, cool.
And
But
it
it's
does
like,
nothing to affect what you're doing.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just I think it's and then you look at like it's because of everything that they from the 6 a.m. workouts to the way that they practice to the way that they watch film to the way that they get on the bus. You know, it's like there's no
It's
coincidence.
not by accident.
No. But the same schools win every year. It's
Yep.
like this
But-
is, you know.
But what do those schools have? A winning
Culture.
So when like the winning culture goes beyond who's in the building, we're watching that. You know, from as a spectator, we're watching it. We expect Mount Carmel or
Yeah.
Loyola or all of these teams to be in the conversation every single year because we've seen it happen time and time again.
Yeah.
I've been watching Mount Carmel win. When I was a kid, when my brothers was playing at Brother Rice, to when I was in high school, they was winning. To now that I'm past college and in my
Yeah.
career, they're still doing the same things
Yeah.
they've always done because they always have that culture. And then when you always win it, it's going to be easier.
Yes.
It's only going to, if they continue to do the same things that are correct, it's only going to be easier for them to get those kids to come in
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they already know what to expect. It's not even going to be hard to sell the dream to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. The building blocks at the beginning stage when you're trying to build that culture, obviously it may be a little tough and you got to like pretty much
Right.
sell a vision and sell a dream to a kid. But when you're a team that's like a powerhouse like Loyola and Mount Carmel and all of these schools, the culture is there. You can live off the culture. Now you can live off the branding behind it that the kids are going to want to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's I mean, you just watch tape on Loyola and watch how disciplined they are.
exactly.
They don't make mistakes.
Exactly.
They run to the ball. They play hard on special teams.
I
They-
seen a bunch of Loyola games. This
you
year.
know,
I
like,
know.
it's-
I know.
But like, and then I'll tell you, if you want to know how you go to a winning program or you have a winning mindset, when you get your draw in the playoffs, when you get your schedule, if you get Loyola on the schedule and you're like, oh man, we got Loyola, then you ain't at a winning program.
Nope.
You ain't got it.
Exactly.
If you don't look at that game and be like, oh yeah,
It's
we're
on.
going through them. Great. I
Yeah.
want, like, that's what we want. Then okay, then you know you're at the right school. You have the right mindset. If your mindset's not like that, you need to take a look in the mirror.
Because at the end of the day, you in the playoffs, you got to play the best. Even if the first round draw is like this is an easy win, but
Right.
you're gonna eventually play the best. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Richard's having a great year, and they've been when they only got one loss, and they're gonna have to play East St. Louis.
But before even getting there, they got to play Kankakee this
And they got to
weekend.
play
So it's not.
Kankakee.
That's
So it's
not
like the best
Yeah.
is playing the best, and you
Yeah.
gotta want to, like you said, you gotta want to play the
Yeah.
best because if you want to win a state championship, do you think you're gonna play some scrubs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Like, so-
or are you gonna go ahead and win a state championship, but then Mount Carmel won the Catholic League
Yeah.
state championship, and you gonna call yourself a state champion?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. It's like you
Stop
want to be
making
the best,
excuses.
beat the best,
Yeah,
man. It
100%.
really comes with it. Because guess what? By that theory, why isn't every Catholic league Catholic team dominant? Every Catholic
lose.
high school football team is not dominant.
Nah, they
It's
lose.
the same ones that are dominant for a reason. So culture is culture. I don't care if you Catholic, public, can recruit, whatever. If you don't have that culture and that foundation for success, you won't be successful.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
But even in that, like the thing that we talked about this year, what we saw is that a lot of the Catholic League teams were beating up on each other this year. So
Yeah,
you had Nazareth blow out St. Rita,
Yeah.
but then
St.
St.
Francis beat
yeah,
Naz,
exactly.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's-
like
the
you've
CCL
seen a
is-
lot of the teams beat up on each
Man.
other, but that's a good competitive
That's-
nature.
And then when
you know what I
you
mean?
go to the playoffs and you've seen the best. That's why when I was in high school, it was the Catholic Blue was Providence, Mount Carmel, Loyola, Brother Rice, Fenwick, and I think that's it. So it was all the best, the best teams: Carmel, Rita, Loyola, Rice, Providence, and that's you have to see them the whole. By the time you get to the playoffs, like all right, I didn't see them. And then our out of conference games were Joliet Catholic and Lincoln East. So we're playing
The best.
9 playoff teams, and then so by the time we get to 6A playoffs, it's light work.
yeah, I feel like that's the way it
But
should
then
be.
we ran into Cary Grove and they beat us. Like, so it's and we were beating 8A teams and just it's all about culture. It really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Believing you can win. That's really how. At the end of the day, I feel like if you, especially at everything in life, if you're not in your head already won, then it's over with. Like you line up, you pressing somebody, playing man to man. In your head, if there's any doubt that you can't cover this guy, it's over with.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You before you put your helmet on, you
confidence.
think that you're gonna lose. That you don't know that you can win this game. You're not winning that game.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
I agree. I agree. I think we had a great conversation,
Yeah.
man. I love talking about sports. I love talking about how you were able to bring a spotlight to the development, to your facility and everything. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. This is a great facility you have
Appreciate
here,
y'all
and I
boys,
love
man.
how you bringing in the winning culture as you named the facility WIN Performance. Is there anything else you want to hit on, FA, before we?
No. I
we
think
wrap
we
this up?
hit on everything, man. I just want us to continue to grow, collectively
Yeah.
together, because that's really
100%.
the point of
Exactly.
the platform. That's the point of what we do. Is like if it's enough of us, then we kind of control a narrative. We kind of control what's
100%.
happening. We get a platform and a voice that's big enough that coaches here, that people who make decisions here, and we can really affect some change. You know what I mean? So that's why I want you
absolutely.
guys to continue to grow, because you're doing something great. Some of the top guys that I see on their stories, they're coming here to win.
yeah.
They're developing, and it's adding to the competitiveness in Illinois, as you can see. So you guys are definitely doing a great thing. And like I said, anybody out there that's for pushing Illinois football or just football anywhere to be better, then let's continue to grow this together and get these kids back on the right page, because that's what it's gonna take. Like it's fucked up right now. Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
The culture of football and sport is fucked up, and we need people to restore order. So we just want to keep pushing that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how I feel about you guys. I think, obviously, everybody eats at the end of the day. Like, if collectively we're better, like, it's better for everybody. And I think it's, since I've known you guys, I've loved what you guys are doing. I think it's great. It's like what the culture needs in Chicago. We need, like, in the country in general, young people need people to look up to that can, like, be real with them and tell them what's really real, but where it comes from a place of that they care about you. You can tell you guys care. Like, that's why I care about it. It's like, at the end of the day, like, that's what it's about. And I think, you guys are doing a great job. I can't wait to see where you guys are at in a year from now, 5 years from now. Like, it's crazy. It's been dope to watch you guys grow, and you guys are going to continue to grow and just keep getting better.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. That's
Appreciate
love.
it.
Yep.
And likewise, is there anything else that you wanted to shout out, plug?
Anything you got coming? I know
Anything coming up,
training is
training?
starting soon.
If you can find us on socials. If any young guy out there has questions for me or anything, feel free to DM me or whatever. Man, at the end of the day, like, make sure wherever you train at, even if it's not here, make sure you find a place where you're getting the right stuff. You do your research, your due diligence, and then at the end of the day, make sure you come in with an attitude and a mindset that you're gonna get as good as you can for that session. Stack them days and see where you end up.
Absolutely. Well, this is the Off-Season Podcast, episode 27. We was here at WIN Performance today. We appreciate you for coming onto the platform
sir.
and tell your
Yeah,
story,
I'm
talk a
honored,
little
man.
about
I'm honored.
sports
Yeah.
and everything. And I'm pretty sure our paths is gonna definitely cross a lot
Yes,
in the
sir.
future. And just like you watching us grow, we watching you do the same thing. So we would love to see it. But let's continue to grow.
Yeah,
let's
man.
continue to win. Let's
Yes,
continue
sir.
to get better, and let's continue to help the people that's coming after us, that's already been doing this before us, and we're going to continue to grow from there for sure.
sir.
But
Yes, sir.
this is the Off-Season Podcast, episode 27, and we are signing out.
Damn, 27. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh.